Well, good evening and welcome to the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Tonight's exercise for everyone who has been hitting me up to field test the NITECORE EDC29, here it is. I should point out that NITECORE did offer to send me one. Unfortunately, these back and forth conversations often take up some time. Their shipping on top of that, and I just had about 55, 60 points saved up on Amazon. I went into Amazon, bought it for a deep discount, had it in my hands 2.5 days later. It's hard to get much easier than that. I've now been carrying it and using it for over a week and a half, so here we are. Most of you are already familiar with the EDC27. You probably already have some familiarity with the 29. You've been to the website. You've seen all the marketing hype. You may even been to one or two reviews. I'm not going to spend much time in the way of introduction, a very quick overview, and focus on some differences between this and the EDC 27. I know you're here to see beam shots, you want to know about gotchas, you want to see how it performs in the field. So let's get to that as quickly as possible. Now, if you're already on board with this light, the UI, everything, outputs and so forth, just skip ahead to the next chapter. The first thing I noticed when I took it out of the box is just fit, finish, and construction. I could just tell by feel that this was an overall upgrade over the predecessor, the 27. And again, I have two field tests of that light out on the channel. I really appreciated changes in the switch. This is a much more tactile switch now. Very nice delineation between half press and full press. It's more fault tolerant. Half versus full press on this switch is relatively easy. I did try it with light gloves. I have not tried it using gloves when the weather is cold outside. I should say cold by Texas standards. I really like the rapid lock switch. I'm an old school guy. I like mechanical lockout. I use so many different lights. It's almost impossible for me to remember the specific electronic lock unlock sequence for so many lights. So in my mind, a simpler, more fault tolerant, upgraded UI. You still have the same OLED switches before, half press, then subsequent half presses give you the Lumen output of the various output levels in your basic rotation. And if you happen to turn the light on, then it's in that specific output level, regardless of what it may have previously memorized. Now, I've been led to believe, I'll have to test this later, that those outputs update in real time. That is, if I've been out, say, 3 hours and I can only get 600 lumens out of high, it should show me that. That's what I've been led to believe. I'm going to have to defer that to the battery endurance test. Now, the only thing I've noticed, or I should say in terms of construction, is I was really expecting an IP68 rating. Not too impressed with 5.4. This light is just begging for an extended rain test. Clip, very solid. I've been carrying this in multiple pockets, clipped onto the strap of my rug, and once you clip it on, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. Outputs that are available to you are ultra low, low, mid, high. That's the basic rotation. First gotcha, no moonlight, ultra low, 15 lumens. If you like an ultra low with your EDC light, then you may want to spend some time thinking about the low end versus the high end and the spread that you get in the low end. We'll talk about that more in testing as the night progresses. You have two turbo outputs, half press and hold of this switch gives you the turbo spot, full press and hold turbo flood. There is a strobe available, and you can customize that top end output. So instead of getting the turbo flood, I believe NITECORE calls that Lumen shield, you can exchange the shield for a strobe. So some interesting customization there if you're a big fan of strobe. All right, blah, blah, way too much time, me babbling on. We need to let the light speak for itself. So time to let the sun go down. Let's get out there and see what this thing can really do. So here we are at the bridge in ultra low. Go to low as we look out here, and then down towards the creek. Medium or mid, and I've got a good 38, maybe even 40 yards line of sight. Can barely make out the inside of that tree line ahead of me, and there is high. Very generous field of view. First practical exercise of the evening, close quarters search here at the playground. Let's say your kids drop something out here earlier playing. Now you have to search for it in ultra low, right on the edge as to whether I would say that is useful or not. There we go up into low. Up close it might be a little bit too bright, but look, as we look further away, the candela is low enough that, yeah, this is really doing it. So I don't know, maybe you would like a moonlight with an ultra low that was a bit higher and then shift low mid up, just thinking off the top of my head, but that's what we've got. Let's take it out a little bit further while we're here. Very good, extending out to about 20 yards. Especially if I were searching over a wider area, this is the level that I would use. Let's get into some of these dark pockets over here. Yeah, photonic barriers too. There you go. Path following test, starting out low. Certainly for right in front of you, it's adequate. It's when I look downrange, I'm really not getting good situational awareness about aspects of that path where I might get in trouble. Side to side situational awareness, not that good. Bump up into mid or medium. Now with the shadowing, especially if I get down lower, it's easy for me to get information about that. There's a big pothole right there, sloping right to left. I can see ridges where rain wash has washed away dirt. And I've got acceptable side to side. So if you're in absolute battery conservation mode, looking right in front of you, you can get away with low. Otherwise, I'd probably recommend using mid or medium. So we're going to look at the medium to high transition. Good 38, possibly more yards line of sight, looking out over another creek in mid or medium output level. Relatively darker, more confined space. Pan around to the right. And this area starts to open up and we look back at some of the light pollution from the surrounding city. Also have about a 1/8 the moon out tonight. Okay, here about 75-ish, right in here, really seems to lose it for me. Now I go up into high and I can at least do basic detection out to that middle tree in that group of 3, which is a good 100 from where I am now. Off to the right, I could pick up something highly reflective or eye shine out in the distance in the 120 plus range, but that's about it. I couldn't do even basic detection. And here is a standalone high test. The far tree line out there is over 120, and I can't even make that out. There's a gap between the trees there, and I could do decent detection beyond that. So this seems to be affirming an average city nature preserve type of environment, 75 to 100 yards, decent detection. On a darker night, yes, beyond that. For identification, looks like you're going to have to be comfortably inside 75 in these conditions. So I'm in low output level right now. Let's see if I can get this half press and hold going while I'm holding the light over top of my head. There is turbo spot, tree in the distance over 175. It's dark enough tonight I can barely pick it out, but you saw the step down. Step down is to high, then I let off, and we're back to low. So that's the deal with the momentary turbo modes. In testing, I found you get about 7-8 seconds, and that's even in indoor conditions, and it's relatively cool tonight. So that's the deal. Once again, in low, in a very wide open area, so let's get that turbo flood going. Pretty incredible output and field of view until the step down to high, getting very warm, and I let off and we're back to low. I'm at the top of the observation tower. Now have my headlamp on and want to show you a couple things. You can access the turbo outputs from off or on. So if we go from off to turbo flood, notice the burn down display, and then I'll let off. Now it's trying to recharge. If you try to use it again, it only goes from that level before it steps down. And notice just 2 usages at that highest output level. Look how long it's taking to fully recharge itself for another turbo flood burst. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay, now we could go for another 7, possibly 8 seconds. There's something else I want to show you about the UI, just something you need to be aware of maybe the first time you take it out and use it. So let's say I've been out night hiking, I'm in some output level. I'm in ultra low right now, but it doesn't really make any difference. We're supposed to be able to half press in order to go up to the next output level. But notice that the OLED display is off. We've been running for a while. That first half press brings up your information about the current output level. Then a subsequent half press takes you up a level. So the first time you use it, if you're in one output level for a considerable period of time and you want to go up to the next output level and you half press and you feel that definitive click and nothing happens, it's because that first click is giving you the half click rather is giving you the display. Then the next half click actually takes the output level up. But notice if that OLED display is on, we can just keep half clicking and go around as much as we want. So again, just wanted to show you this so you've got something to think about before you click that add to cart button. All right, one more time through the basic output levels, starting with ultra low, low, mid or medium. I might be getting 50 plus yards line of sight with all this growth. High, and then we pan to the right and high. Does high have a step down? Yes, I need to address that as a separate video. I'd like to do a battery burn down test where I just bring it out here, probably to Arbor Hills, turn the light on in high and just run it till the battery completely exhausts itself, and then we can see exactly what the step down looks like over time. I'd also like to do an extended rain test, and I'll make my way back up to where we started and do a very, very brief wrap up. And we are right back where we started. As you can see, we're charging. You can use the basic outputs, not the turbo or strobe, while charging. So I just wanted to show you that. Well, is this light for you? I don't know. I can't answer that. Only you can answer that. The best advice I can give is look at every aspect, and I hope you saw everything you needed to see tonight, and then match that to your personal preferences and use cases. If you find out it's the right light for you, hey, that's great. I hope you enjoy it. If not, time to go on to something else. Or maybe you haven't seen enough yet. You need to see something else. I have at least 2 tests on the schedule, one of which is a battery endurance test. I'm going to take it out here probably to Arbor Hills. I may go out to the LBJ grasslands. I just haven't decided yet. Put it on high and let it run to depletion, and then run it off a power bank after that. That will do 2 things. It will give us some burn down information, exactly where the step downs are at the high output level, and how much total duration we get from that level. I'm also going to do an extended rain test. If you need to see something else to make your decision, let me know. I'll see if I can work it in. Maybe I can do it as a YouTube short. We'll just have to see. But as far as tonight's exercise, that's it. I'm going to shut it down. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.